The city manifeste has its roots in the history of the company Sumco. Sumco was founded in 1853 to build the first workers' housing estate close to downtown Mulhouse. More than 1,250 of these original houses still exist today and are so-called la cite. These houses were at the time very modern, and for the first time working class people had the opportunity to purchase their own property. In 2001, Sumco's mission, still being to deliver good quality housing at affordable rates, was about to embark on a fresh and exciting new challenge that would completely change the concept of social housing. We decided for the 150th anniversary of the company to take a fresh look at the way housing was designed and built. What struck us was the widening gulf between the housing modest income families were asking for and the standardized product they were actually getting. The combination of extremely tight building regulations, habitability standards, and space requirements was virtually turning public housing into a production line affair. Realizing that something had to be done, we jumped at the chance to acquire an abandoned industrial site just next to the housing estate Sumco had built nearly a century and a half before. And in getting the ball rolling again, we launched a whole new approach. In the 19th century, property was considered a stabilizing factor. Today's decision to build rented accommodation here in the city centre reflects the needs of a very different society. If it is to serve as an example, the operation had to embody the economics of standard subsidised rented accommodation. Thus the project received no special grants whatsoever. The aim was to demonstrate that lower income families can be offered quality housing at no extra cost, simply by disregarding the standard norms of the industry. 5 teams of architects were involved in the project. In terms of design choices, they were given absolute freedom. We just simply gave them a budget. The total expenditure for 60 housing units was to be €6.2 million, inclusive of tax, architects' fees, roads and services. The business plan was financed from our usual sources. There was very little input from the town hall, apart from a small grant to buy the site. The land acquired by Sumco is on the edge of the original estate. There was previously an old factory on the plot, which we demolished. The residents of this original estate are today all homeowners. The original factory workers who used to live here sold their properties, and today mostly immigrants are living in the old city. It is predominantly a low-income neighbourhood. The new operation involved continuation of the original street grid, the extension of those arrowed named streets named Passage, mark off the plots entrusted by each team, and a 5th cross plot for Jean Nouvel along a big street that closes the area. The project forms a sort of triangle. Each of the projects methodically sets out to blur its areas of transition. Boundaries are dissolved. The dwellings disclose areas that are not really interiors, but not quite exteriors either. Relationships are generated between living spaces. Floor area is increased, notably via the optional use of certain spaces for other purposes, spaces like garages or attics, for example. To fit with the inherent economics of the project, the architects readily resorted to mass-produced items such as garage doors, greenhouses, containers, pool covers, which they then rechanneled into domestic use. Even more than the original estate, the ambience here is that of a garden city, but one whose planted areas infiltrate loggias, terraces and winter gardens. The main objective of the Lacaton and Vassal approach is to provide a maximum surface living area with movable partitions allowing the tenant to create his own interior, maximizing luminosity with wide windows. Winter gardens, massive terraces that can be opened or closed with sliding panels, offer the possibility of extending the living area. The idea was to offer tenants the advantage of being able to use the garden all year round. Use of economical, efficient, mass-produced structures, a reinforced concrete unit for the ground floor, and a light shell or greenhouse upstairs provide maximum area and volume from the outset. Then comes partitioning of this space into 12 dwellings, each on 2 levels, a process greatly facilitated by the fact that the whole is already waterproof. The individual results are truly astonishing, with a loft-like feel and a spaciousness that diminishes the need for closed-off rooms, privacy being preserved by distance and partitions. The winter garden and the greenhouse structure contribute to reducing the heating costs of the apartments, and the results for the residents are amazing. In our opinion, this modern type of construction is an example to be repeated. For a moderate cost, €1,000 per square metre, you can offer spacious, well-lit accommodation at reasonable prices. In conclusion, we can say that the city manifeste is a real success. The urban form created has had an impact on the way of life of the people who are living in it. There is a very good atmosphere and no tenant turnover. For the notoriety of the town is wonderful because it is visited by people from all over the world. Today the tenants of the city manifeste are in the same income or class category as those we find in all our rented properties. It is in fact the level of income which dictates who has the right to social housing. It has been noted that the innovative design of the apartments in the city manifeste are not always to everybody's taste. The originality of certain properties are particularly attractive to artists and young students in their architecture. We don't want the city manifeste's model of construction to be repeated or copied. It's more the ideas that have been provided that should be copied for future use. And today more than ever, with the new thermal norms construction model, we need to remember that we build dwellings to live in. The quality of inside life is as an important a factor as the exterior aspect of the building. To start a project like this one will not be easy because you will be fighting against a lot of standard norms and ideas of construction. But believe us, in the end it will be worth it.